Guess what? QAnon has partnered with the sovereign citizens to declare that March 4th is the day that Trump will be inaugurated as the 17th president of the United States.
Yes, this inauguration we just had of Joe Biden, it's all farce. It's all for show. Trump's down in South Florida.
This is like a fire on
This
YouTube.
March 4th inauguration, according to this latest conspiracy theory, which actually combines the people represented by a letter of the alphabet and the sovereign citizen. Here's what Vice has to say. Why March 4th? Why it's all this? Sovereign citizens believe that a law enacted in 1871 secretly turned the U.S. into a corporation and did away with the American government.
Hi, Laura.
Hi, Gail. I had to unmute myself. How are you doing?
Good. Been so busy at work. That's why I haven't been able to attend. But I said today I have to. So.
Oh,
So
thanks.
is all your painting done inside the house?
The painting is done. The flooring is done. But we haven't unpacked. I mean, it's still a mess. We finally got our blinds last week. We were ordering bookshelves for the living room by Rich Wall, this company that does really good custom wall units and stuff. So we're going to have the living room built in with bookcases because
Okay.
Milt's got so many, he just has so many books and stuff, which is why we haven't been able to unpack because we don't have enough bookcases for everything. So I'm going to go ahead and let our speaker in, but we'll talk. I'll talk to you soon about it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I really could use some help. Thanks. I got a couple more people coming in too.
Hello.
Greetings. Hi, Brent.
Hi there. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good.
Thank you so much for agreeing to do this.
Oh, thanks for allowing me to join a little bit early. I always panic for technical issues to happen while you're trying to log in. So I'm glad everything worked out.
Okay.
Come out and say,
Hold on. I got to turn something off on my phone. Shoot. Hold on just a second. Okay. Sorry about that. Greetings, Mayor. Thank you for joining us.
Hi, how you doing?
Brent, I don't know if you've met Mayor Racy.
I've met him on a couple of occasions. Good to see you, Mayor.
Good to see you too.
I haven't noticed your baseball collection until now, though.
Yeah.
You never know if those are one of those virtual backgrounds and they're not real, but that looks pretty real and pretty impressive.
It's real.
Good for you. Is it all local or is it signatures from all over?
Most of it's Detroit, but there are some signatures from pretty much more Hall of Fame players.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Great.
And I probably got about 90% of them myself.
Oh yeah?
So,
Caught and signed yourself? Oh, that's great.
yeah.
Yeah, my father used to work with a guy who was one of the ushers in the old Tiger Stadium, and used to work actually in one of the dugouts, and would get foul balls and have everybody sign it. And it was great. I was going to ask you, mine are now 40 something years old, and they're fading, and I can't get them to stop fading. So I'm wondering if there's a solution for that.
I don't know of anything. I thought years ago I read something about something, but that's definitely a problem. And the leather starts discoloring and changes, with stuff, which is very fortunate.
The ones in felt in permanent marker, not so much, but the ones that were in pen or whatever they were using back then, it was they're definitely showing years of wear and tear. I'm not using them; they're in similar cases, but obviously it's just
certain
more time
pens
issue.
really didn't work right. I mean, they've come to find out, and nobody knew. And I think actually blue Sharpie has come to be something that's not a good thing on pictures.
Oh wow! Huh.
Hey, welcome to everybody
That was a great
who's
thing.
joining. Sorry to interrupt.
No.
It's Zoom meetings are a little, different format. Obviously, we're getting a little bit more used to it, but we used to meet in person weekly at the Wayne Public Library, and so as people came in, they would be chatting and all of that, and then we would eat. We would welcome everybody and say a prayer, and then we would eat. So obviously, we can't do that. We're not eating together anymore. So we changed up our format a little bit to have our speaker go first instead of conducting club business and doing fines and all the kinds of things that Rotary clubs do. We decided instead to give a couple minutes for people coming in, because not everybody can log in right away. So we usually wait about 5 minutes for everybody to come in, and then we'll go ahead and say the Pledge of Allegiance, and we'll have you introduce yourself, Brent, to everybody. But so we have a couple minutes, like you were in the mayor, we're talking about the mayor's baseball collection that sits behind him there. So John, why don't you just tell us a little bit about your collection so everybody can hear? And
I have an autographed ball from Lou Rock.
No, I've been collecting for years. I as a kid, I had a few signatures, and then went down to Tiger Stadium and thought, well, I'm going to try to go get signatures. And I picked out a couple players that I wanted to get, and probably within 10 minutes I had them, and I'm like, well, that was pretty easy. So kind of started from there, and it just snowballed. I've tried to get signatures myself, then those are authentic. But I've bought some over the years, but I have had the ability to go out and get myself. But I've concentrated a lot on Tiger. I was a big Tiger fan growing up, still am. So even through the hard times, but I've got the majority of the 84 team on signatures on single baseballs. I've got I did buy at Gibraltar, they had a 30-year reunion of the 68 Tigers, and I happened to be in there one day, and they had found a box with some of them in it, and I ended up buying one of those, which was a signed ball of 68, which is pretty cool. Probably some of the biggest people, from outside, and one's not baseball, one's baseball related, is like Roger Clemens. I got him to sign at Comerica Park the first day that they opened up Ford Field at the field. And then when I went to Eastern, I had the privilege. I skipped class for this, but Muhammad Ali was speaking, and I was able to get to meet Muhammad Ali and get him to sign something. So that he's probably the biggest person I've ever got to sign something. And I got to go to Comerica Park with and see Bob's kid when he was working as the a bat boy. He had both kids down there. And actually he got some really cool pictures of his son with Al Kaline and some other people in that. That was pretty neat too.
Wow, very cool. So welcome to those that have just joined. I guess we'll go ahead and get started. It's 12:04, so welcome to our weekly meeting. This is the first one of February, and today is Groundhog Day. So happy Groundhog Day, everyone. I think I heard that Puxatani Phil did not see a shadow.
He did.
He did see a shadow, so that means
6 more weeks. Yeah, what a surprise. 6 more weeks of winter. What a surprise.
What a surprise. Oh, well, I'm at the age where it goes by so fast that it's like I blink my eyes and it's like July. So I know it will go by quickly. So I hope everybody is doing well. We'll get started with the meeting by saying the Pledge of Allegiance. So I do have a little flag here. See, as my virtual background probably isn't going to show it very well, but we can go ahead and pledge allegiance to the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay. We ring the bell. So the Rotary Club of Wayne is now in session. To Brent, our speaker today from Services to Enhance Potential. We have been in existence for, it will be 100 years in 2022. So it's a pretty amazing club that we have here. I don't know if you're familiar with Rotary clubs, but we do service projects. We use fellowship as an avenue to make the community and the world a better place. I've been a Rotarian for about 17 years, and it was a fantastic way to connect to the community. I had just been appointed as a district judge in Wayne in 2004, and one of the promises I made to the governor at the time was that I would be involved in the community. And so when I had the opportunity to join Rotary, it seemed like a good match, and it has been just a wonderful experience for me. So welcome to our club. Thank you so much for agreeing to speak to us today. And I'll just let you go ahead and introduce yourself and get started.
Well, thank you. And thanks for having me. Yeah, I have a lot of history with Rotary clubs, and I've spoken them on a variety of occasions. So I really appreciate the opportunity to speak to yours today. And I know one thing that I always enjoyed, if you get to know me more, is a lunch here and there. So I definitely am missing that opportunity to share a meal with everybody. So again, thank you for having me. I think I can share my screen, Laura. So I'm gonna see if I can do that.
If you can't, I think I can do it from my iPad.
Yeah.
Yay! Excellent.
Yeah. So you should be seeing the entire screen, correct? With our presentation. Great. So before I get into the actual presentation, which I'll try and give a pretty good overview of what we do and have been doing for our 49 years. That's usually an impressive number for the audience when I mention that, but when I hear you're 122 years, I'm impressed. So I'm definitely, I'll usually see a different response when I mention that, but I want to just introduce myself. As Laura mentioned, my name is Brent Mikulski. I've been fortunate enough to be president and CEO of STEP since 2014. In our 49-year history, we've only had 3, including myself, CEOs in our existence. So I have a long, like I said, I have the pleasure of serving for the last 6 or 7 years now, in being supported by our 135 employees and our board of directors. So it's just been a complete honor to serve in this capacity. My history prior to joining STEP is I've been with community mental health, a community mental health provider for years now. So Judge Mack, I know you were involved in the mental health courts, and very appreciative of the work that that you guys have done to help the population that I've been involved with since the mid-90s. So, but I spent most of my time as an outpatient provider, senior leadership, either running outpatient providers or running psychiatric hospitals here in Michigan and down in North Carolina. So the opportunity to work with STEP has just been an absolute joy. It's kind of really put more of the experience I gained in these other sites really to work, working with individuals that are job seeking and doing some things to in that realm has just been an absolute joy to be a part of. So switching gears a little bit to what's in who STEP is. We are a nonprofit 501c3. We've had that pleasure of having that distinction for several years now. We do most of our services throughout Wayne County, but I'll get to specifically mentioning that a little bit later. We started in 1972 by a few parents that were affiliated with the local ARCs who wanted a little bit more for their child, their son or daughter, other than just what was typically provided back in 1972, which was more of just a day program setting. They wanted to see some employment opportunities and something different that they hadn't seen before. So they collectively came together, about 5 of the local ARCs, created our board, created our organization with that in mind, and we've grown exponentially since that time. Last year, we served just close to 1,500 folks, and that's about the number we've seen in previous years. And considering the curveball that as a baseball reference, sorry, the curveball that 2020 threw at us, we were able to engage with about the same number of folks that we did in the years prior. We have about 135 employees, ranging from my executive leadership team to our direct service personnel, which includes our direct care staff and skills trainers and job coaches, and most of my field-based work. We were just north of $13 million in revenue in 2020, most of that being Medicaid supported funding through our local community mental health agency, Detroit Wayne. And I just put our website there if anybody has any. It's packed with a bunch of information. So what we do, we kind of categorize our services in 4 categories: support, employment, transition services, programming, and engagement in the community. And I kind of go through each one of these. Before I do that, I want to kind of get into where we're at. We have what we call resource centers located throughout Wayne County. We have 2 here in Dearborn. Our main office is over here on Gully, just south of Michigan Avenue. We have a location on the east side of Dearborn, right off of Rotunda and Schaefer. Our Westland location, which I think most of you might be familiar with, is the old Tinkham Center, part of the Wayne Westland School District. It's on Vinoy Road, just south of Cherry Hill. And we have a Detroit Resource Center as well that's located right off of Gratiot and Warren Avenue, if you're familiar with that area as well. We operate 3 thrift stores, and I'll kind of get into what we do there. But we have 3 thrift stores, one in Dearborn Heights, one in downtown Wayne, which I think you guys have seen for years. That was our first one. We opened it in 2007. It was previously known as Tried and True, which I don't know the existence of or how long that was around before we began to operate that. And then we have our Southgate store, which we've operated since 2011 as well. I'm really happy to report we now have a progressive art studio, which is our art studio, which we used to just do classes, but now it's more of an artist-driven program. We have currently 2 programs, and with plans to unveil 2 more here on the next 90 days or so. It's in Detroit currently on a virtual presence, so we're able to engage folks that are at home and haven't returned back to programming. With our plan for this month to open at our Vinoy location, our 3rd art studio. And then when we relocate our Southgate store in May, we're going to open a studio adjacent to that store as well. And then finally, we just have employment and support services throughout Wayne County, depending on where that employer might be or where that internship might be. And I'll talk a little bit more about that in a second. So one of the first things I wanted to highlight is just what we do in the community. We have a variety of opportunities for the folks that we serve to experience life in the community that they reside in. What we have known for years now, the population that we serve typically face a very isolated life, where if we're not doing something, there's a good chance that they're not leaving their place of residence, if that's a group home or wherever it is. So we have really tried to look at the way we're improving individuals' quality of life by doing two things. One, allowing them to experience what's out in the community. And you see a couple of the examples that give you an idea of what we do out there. If it's a volunteer opportunity with a local nonprofit, if it's just doing something social or leisure or recreational based, or if it's actually, for fitness or for their own well-being, we design it so that they get experience in doing something like that. And then, but secondly, and most importantly, we're giving them the tools to be able to do that alone. So we're trying to find ways to allow them to, if they want to go to the movies, how they would create a peer group to be able to do that together and not, again, be dependent on an organization like us or others that, to do the things that we often take for granted. So, and I just put a couple of statistics here, and the response that we've gotten from those folks that have participated in these type of experiences, and it's almost 100% that folks really enjoy this type of opportunity, because again, if they're not getting it elsewhere, it's really important for them, and they really enjoy it when that opportunity is provided. And then a recent initiative was for us to not just program for the sake of programming, but just intentionally offer individual services in the community and do so without any individual organization helping them. So we're seeing about 88% or so of our folks doing that among themselves, which is exactly the trend that we hope to see. So the next category that I wanted to highlight was our programming. And there's just a lot of that. There's a lot of programming that we do in all of our sites, but I kind of summarized a few of those. One area that we spend a lot of time working with is our support coordination, or case management, as it's sometimes referred to, where we're working with individuals and making sure that they know what opportunities for housing they may have, or employment they may need, or whatever. So we have a team of about 13 support coordinators that work with our population to make sure that those answers and that guidance is provided when needed. The bulk of the work that we do is classified as skill building. We break that down into a variety of particular programming, vocational related. So those individuals that want to talk about jobs and maybe entering the workplace for the first time, we're working with them, or maybe have lost a job in the past, and we're trying to work with them to find that the next opportunity. Virtual services is relatively new to us. Because of the pandemic last year, a lot of our face-to-face services are at about 60% of where it was prior. So from February to after March numbers. So we revamped what we did and are now providing a lot of our services where we can virtually, so they can stay at home safe with mom and dad and things like that. Community programming I just went through. Skill development, if it's for vocational or again some other purpose, I'll get to some of the culinary and art trainings that I just mentioned here in a second. Fitness I mentioned before. Independent living, again, trying to improve an individual's quality of life. If we're not talking about employment, the next thing that we're talking about is being able to create greater levels of independence, and that's a lot of that's through where they're living and how their support network is. So we do what we can to help them gain that independent living to whatever degree that they're capable of. That may be with a roommate, that may be outside of the place with mom and dad or a group home, but at least talking about opportunities that are out there. Supported employment, again, we work with a lot of local chambers to talk about ways that we can work with businesses to get the individuals that are job seeking that we work with, those jobs. And we have seen such great partnerships form and through internships where businesses have opened their doors, allowed folks to gain that that on-the-job experience, and then be able to either become employees with that business or be able to move on to another organization. It's just been absolutely wonderful to see that progression in those relationships being built. Job coaching, we provide a lot of support for those that are first-time employment or being able to actually support them after their placement. Our pre-employment or next, our Navigating Employment Experiences Together program. That's more of our school to work experience. So kids that are graduating or leaving public school after 12th grade, or in the state of Michigan, they're actually able to stay in the school if you have a disability until you're 26. So maybe aging out of a public school. We work with them after the age of 14 and talking to family, talking to them, giving them the experiences as to what they're looking for in their post high school world could be. And I'll talk a little bit more about what is involved with each of those as we get to more of the employment conversation. So just the last slide on programming. This is just a couple of the community-based programmings that we offer. I mentioned the Progressive Art Studio. Here's some of the work that we're doing. Before the pandemic hit in 2020, we were doing a variety of art exhibits. We were fortunate to have Westlands City Hall host us twice to be able to show off the art there. And we've had a couple other art shows in 2018, 2019, being able to show off some of the work. And this is some of the, I think, some of the impressive work that continues to happen. We're hoping that we're either going to have a virtual experience to be able to show off that art, or be able to actually see the in-person art exhibits as we're able to. We always look for partners that can give us the space, for those type of things. And we've been successful. We actually had one at the Westland Library as well. So just a variety of opportunities. Our newest culinary program, we opened in the St. John's Church over on Wayne Road. It's our What's Cooking in Westland program. So we're doing some very cool things with that culinary program for two purposes. One, individuals who want to enter the food service industry, we can give them some of the skills that they may need. And then also, again, going back to that level of independence and improving the ability for them to prepare meals, understand why it's more important to go to the grocery store and buy the ingredients for your meal versus driving through a drive-through and ordering by number, the importance of eating healthy. We can talk about that for that independent and quality of life discussion as well. So then moving into transitional services, this is where I mentioned where we have students that are leaving high school. We work with them and the transition counselors at those schools. We work with Wayne Risa to develop and work with their special ed instructors, again, to begin that conversation with the families and the individuals as young as possible. Too many times when there's a transition or a break in service, or an individual is aging out of something, that discussion doesn't happen as soon as we would like it to. It usually happens a month prior when that caseworker says, hey, I got bad news in July, we can't serve you any longer. And then there's that level of anxiety, both for the individual and for the parent. So we are now able to work with students at the age of 14 to start talking about what they're interested in post-school. So we again work with Wayne Risa and several, like 20 or so school districts in Wayne County to have those conversations, understand what they're looking for, and be able to give them work exploration opportunities or career camps to, again, further fine tune what they're looking for. And we often realize that at age 14, many individuals with or without disabilities, they really can't answer a question what they want to do for the rest of their life. I remember my son's, he wanted to be a professional lacrosse player, and obviously, we'll try and help where folks can, but what we want to be able to do is give the individuals an idea of what's out there. And in many cases, as I mentioned, with our population being as isolated as sometimes they are, students with disabilities aren't really aware of what they're what's out there or what they're capable of. So these work exploration opportunities allow them to understand what it is to work in a store, what it is to work in a bank, what's it like to to work in a certain industry that they may have never seen before, when they may have only seen some of the typical or historical positions as a a bagger at a grocery store, or a individual who wipes down the trays at a local McDonald's, when we know there's a lot more opportunity for individuals with the correct support that their potential of. One of our marquee programs is our Project Search program. We have 4 of them. It's a national model that has been highly successful, and we probably have about 87% of our students who participate in a Project Search program graduate with a job or get a job soon after graduation. So we have 4 local partnerships, one with Dearborn Public Schools and Beaumont Hospital, Romulus Public Schools and Beaumont again, Livonia Public Schools and St. Mary Hospital, and Detroit Public Schools and DTE. And the model works a little differently. Instead of the students spending their last year in a traditional high school, they actually spend the last year of their education at the host site. So these organizations that I mentioned, they spend the last year spending half the time in the classroom, and then half the time actually interning at one of those organizations. So they rotate 3 times in the year, so they get experience of 3 different types of jobs. And then the best part is in June, when they graduate, we can then present a resume to that new employer or that host site, in many cases, that somebody's experienced and knowledgeable about a position, and it helps with that transition to that new employer. And with that success, like I mentioned, the 87% is just an amazing number because of the opportunity that host site, with the support of the school district, the support of Michigan Rehab and BSB Blind Services and organizations like us, to be able to make that happen. We're really proud to be a part of that. And I already mentioned the career camps and work exploration. So this is just a quick slide that just kind of highlights the work that we do. This is just a screenshot of our most recent annual report, but you can kind of get a sense. When we talk to and work with large organizations like hospitals, it really provides an opportunity for individuals to get a well-rounded experience of those internships. If it's from administration, where they're in accounting office, doing payroll, working with accounts receivable, or in the culinary, when they're working in the cafeteria on the hospital grounds, or in the linen area for laundry services, or wherever. It's again building those tools and getting those experiences to those students. So sticking with employment is continuing to be our next category, and that's supported employment. And just like you would see with a typical employment agency, where it would be Kelly Services or whoever, we work in a very similar fashion, but our population has a diagnosis of some sort of disability. And again, when I talk and have these type of presentations, that could mean a variety of things to a variety of people. And I just kind of summarize it the best I can. It's individuals that you can obviously see a disability when the minute you meet somebody, if it's either a physical disability or something else, or something that you're never going to see. And everywhere and everything in between. So we work with individuals, figuring out exactly what they want, what type of supports they have, what we can do for them. We offer those that are interested paid internships. So that could be at one of our thrift stores. That could be, we have a couple of relationships with some local hotels where they're learning that skill, and those type of things, so that we're able to get them experience as well as a paycheck while they're doing it. We offer training programs. I'll talk about a couple here as we go forward, but what we realize is there's 2 types of approach from employers that we work with. One that wants individuals who don't have a lot of skills, but want to be at work, that want to show up for work every day, rain or snow, whatever it is, but they just want to be there, and then they'll take on the job of training. And there's other folks that want that on top of some specific hard skills, and we can do either through either working with them, that business specifically, or through an association of theirs. We're able to modify trainings and support them prior to that placement. So I'll highlight one of the examples we'll have later, but CVS, our partnership with CVS is a great example of something along that aligning training programs to help support folks who are job seeking. And then lastly, we do provide to some businesses who are interested in understanding what advantages there are to working with folks with disabilities, what that does to their workforce, how it does provide some extremely positive results other than just having a job filled, what that does to your non-disabled population in terms of seeing somebody who's has different challenges than some others and being able to really improve that workforce on a daily basis. So we provide some educational support and other support through what we do to help encourage more businesses take that leap of faith. So I just wanted to kind of highlight a little bit of things that we do with our thrift stores. It's our biggest paid internship experience that we offer, because a lot of our folks, we can either move them right into a retail opportunity out in the community, or some of the skills that they are getting while they're interning at a thrift store may not apply directly to somebody interested in working in a retail setting, because as we know, that's not for everybody. It does have some other outcomes that I think folks are benefiting from. If it's customer service, if it's following instructions, those type of things that we can get a good understanding of where that person might need support. So we do a lot of that in our 3 thrift stores. We just recently announced a campaign called Double Your Difference, where we partner with a local nonprofit where we split 2% of our proceeds every month back to that nonprofit to again help both agencies out, not only get more foot traffic into our thrift stores and spend more, but also giving back to an organization that might need that additional revenue. I just wanted to kind of highlight a couple percentages here, just in terms of when we do work with businesses or we work with individuals, the percentages skyrocket for levels of satisfaction. Businesses feel better about what they're doing when they work with us. Individuals who are employed have continuously express high levels of satisfaction in what they're able to do. And this next slide as well kind of gives you a couple more examples. So we survey all of our employers after initial placement and then a few periods of time after, and just talking about what we could do better for that placement. And this past year, these numbers are from last year, and we're just really proud of that 100% response where we've had people really satisfied with the partnerships that are formed. 97% of the individuals that we place are showing satisfaction in that job placement. So happy employee, happy employer type of thing. So we're seeing a lot of that. And then 82% remain on the job after 90 days. That's definitely something that I think any employer would be happy to see when their brand new employee sticks around for a length of time after hire. And then this last slide on employment just talks about some of our local partners. This is actually an outdated slide. I could probably add a few more people, but a few more businesses. But these are the folks that again we partner with on several opportunities to get folks those opportunities. The last slide I promised to talk about the CVS relationship. We actually partnered with them, I think it was about 18 months ago, where we actually took one of our classrooms at our Dearborn Heights thrift store and modeled it to look like a CVS store. So we actually found, they shared with us the CVS blue. There is a CVS blue, and we painted the walls blue, and we stocked the shelves with their product. They shared with us the employee training manual. So we have our staff training individuals with disabilities in what it is to be a CVS employee for about 5 weeks, learning their techniques, learning what it's going to be to be a part of CVS. They graduate from that classroom-based program and they move into an externship with CVS, and then they move into an employment opportunity within a CVS store. We saw some success. About 50% of our folks that went through were hired by CVS. The rest that weren't, again, these are transferable skills that people can move into a Walgreens or a Rite Aid or another business that really wants to see that value of that new employee. So these are the examples that I have, like I said, where we're working with businesses a little more closer than just, here's a candidate and hopefully you can hire them and they can work out. So we continue to add on those. One of the things that we're doing right now is we're working on renovating one of our classrooms to give that culinary experience. So we're going to mock it up like a restaurant with a kitchen, with some front office for some seating area, and then actually have a classroom to be able to again get those type of skills necessary to move into that industry, and partner with some larger local food service providers. So we're looking forward to getting that in the next couple months. That's really all I have. I know I think I'm going over a couple minutes. I apologize for that. But if there's any questions, I'll be more than happy to answer them. I've been a part of the Wayne Westland community for years now, and we look forward to continuing that in both our thrift store as well as our resource center capacity. So I'll answer any questions anybody might have.
Let's see. I have a couple questions.
Sure.
We partnered with you a little bit with some of our mental health court participants in the 29th District Court, but we had trouble. I mean, we weren't able to get everybody in that we thought could benefit from it. Can you explain the process of accepting people into your programs?
Yeah, we have two funding sources that their eligibility requirements need to be met before they are able to receive services through our typical funding streams. One is they have to be eligible for community mental health services, which isn't necessarily the most difficult, but it's not necessarily always easy. There's just a lot of hoops to jump through. We have spent a lot of time working on our intake process to make sure that some of those barriers weren't self-inflicted barriers, that we could have improved, and we've made some pretty good strides. We've shrunk down the application process. We created a more thorough start to finish referral process. So there's not, we open up a drawer and there's 4 applications that never started services or whatever it is. So there's some work that we have done recently to fix that problem, but that's probably the bulk of it. And that's probably the easiest route, is that community mental health opportunity. The second opportunity that we have is through our partnerships with the state of Michigan vocational rehab agencies, if that's not Michigan Rehab Services or Blind Services for blind persons. We can also take referrals there. They have a little bit more tighter of a eligibility requirement to be met than community mental health. You have to be job seeking. You have to meet certain qualifications. But for an individual with a disability or a mental illness, there should not be a whole lot of an issue getting eligibility met for that community mental health contract.
Oh, great. Could you stop sharing your screen so that I can see
I'm so
everybody?
sorry.
If you don't mind, that's okay.
Oh,
There we go. Okay,
all right.
That way I can see if anybody else has questions.
Yeah.
John and Lois, you usually have questions.
Hold on. Are we muted?
Oh, I saw John's hand kind of go up. I had another question. I just can't think of it off the top of my head. Oh yeah, how can Rotary clubs help? I mean, I know that your population is often very poor. I mean, they often live in group homes, things like that. Is there anything that a service club could do for like people living in group homes, for example?
Yeah, one of the things that we're doing because of the pandemic is that we're looking for more volunteer support for what we do. If it's some of the we made it a pretty big initiative to not only stock ourselves with personal protection equipment throughout the past 11 months, but also try and get it into the hands of those that we partner with. So we've solicited donations and bought hand sanitizer and masks, and then boxed them up and got them out to group homes and other community partners out throughout Wayne County. And so we're looking for support there. In many cases, those shipments come in on a Tuesday and they need to be out on a Wednesday. So we look for volunteers to help there too. But you're right. I think, our population often we don't hear about it unless you have a family member, and they're often, stuck in a group home or stuck at home. So any way we can help those individuals by talking to an employer or getting them the resources through just, being knowledgeable about providers like us out there, I think can help everybody.
Okay, well, I might contact you with specific, questions about how, how we could, if it's volunteer hours, putting together the hand sanitizers and masks that are shipped in, is that?
Yeah, one of the things that we're not ready to do just yet, but we're real excited about the growth that we're going to see with our progressive art studio. And what we see is, we just talked about eligibility. There are some folks that don't meet eligibility requirements but would like to participate. So we're going to introduce a scholarship opportunity for individuals who may not meet the eligibility, but could be a private pay for the to participate. And when we talk about private pay to a population that can't afford to pay for it, we're going to be looking for partners to help pay for scholarships that a couple $100 could help somebody participate. And then a good component of the progressive art studio is micro enterprise development, so they can talk about how they can sell their artwork and do all those type of things to again generate some revenue for themselves, and then we can talk about new opportunities there as well. But it would start with having that scholarship opportunity and maybe that's somewhere where we can talk a little bit further once that gets laid out.
Anybody have a question? Cindy?
I was just curious if you could explain the programs and what you're using the old Tinkham building for.
Well, it's a beautiful building. We started programming in 18 there. I think it's May of 18. And it was in great shape, but it's if you haven't been in the building, it's your standard middle school with several classrooms, a gymnasium, library, all of those things we typically see in a school. And it really allowed us to do things in a setting that we hadn't done before. And we tried to modify some of our other locations to offer classroom experiences, but it just wasn't meshing very well with our previous buildings. So now what we're able to do at the old Tinkham Center is offer 7 classes throughout the day where folks can learn a variety of different things. If it's job training, so we're talking about soft skills and essential skills in one classroom, and right next door to it, we're talking about money management, or we modified one of the centers to be a computer lab, so folks can learn how to set up an email account, how to apply for jobs over the internet, all those type of things. We have one of our art programs there. Right across the hall from there is our independent living apartment, where we actually have a mock apartment where folks can learn what it's like to live by themselves. And there's a classroom built right into there, so somebody can be taught a skill, they can apply it and watch, and have everybody else watch that individual doing that to again learn on their own as well. So we have about 20 or so classrooms total in that building, and I think we're using maybe about 15 of them every single day. So this is all pre-pandemic counts. A lot of that has decreased a little bit because of our face-to-face programming, but for the most part, the site stays quite busy.
Yeah, I notice I drive down Vinoy Road a lot, and I see a lot of traffic going in and out, and cars in the parking lot. So I knew it was being used.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but we just recently engaged with a production crew that actually filmed our entire building, and it's now in a VR setting, so you can actually navigate through the building, see what's happening in each of the classrooms, learn a little bit more about each of the classrooms and what's happening. And we're going to unveil that probably in the next couple of weeks. It's in the draft version right now, but I think it's going to add a different component for those, like you just mentioned, for the, thousands of cars that drive by every day and wonder what we do in there, you can actually get a better idea of what's happening behind the walls. It's gonna be a real cool opportunity.
No, thank you. I look forward to seeing it.
Yeah, I'll definitely share it with Laura.
Yes, Mayor.
Yeah, a couple things. One, I don't know if our Rotarians realize that the city uses STEP to do our cleaning services in Wayne in all of our city buildings.
Yep.
But I had an idea for you, and I don't know if you're aware of it, that we have a thing called Derby's Alley right by your store here in Wayne.
Oh, yeah.
And that may be somewhere that you guys could hold events. It's a little 100-person type of a place, but I mean, like your art thing, you could do an evening or some different things. So just wanted to throw that out to you in case you weren't familiar with that.
Yeah, it's funny you said that. I never knew it had a name. I had just talked to my store manager and said, well, can we use that for something? And this was obviously a conversation before we weren't as fortunate not to be able to do the in-person stuff. But yeah, I would love that opportunity. Is that something that the city manages?
City, but we have the Main Street organization coordinate that for us. So,
okay.
You can contact me. I can.
Yeah,
point you in the
I'll
right
definitely do that.
direction.
It's a cool little, like you said, area to do something small, even if it's a outdoor exhibit. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, the shoe store did an unveiling of some clothes, like a fashion show one day, a while back. But I think that there are things that our businesses right there, if they were doing some things, they want to see, people on the street and attracting people. And when people see different people on our Michigan Avenue corridor, it creates some excitement. So, if there's anything you guys are interested in, please let us know.
Yeah, that's great. I'll definitely take you up on that. Hopefully we'll be talking about outdoor events here soon when it's warmer.
Exactly, but you could be planning.
I like talking about it. It makes it come quicker. I don't know why.
And I also wanted to thank you. Your organization. Everybody realizes that you guys help sponsor our Concerts in the Park series that we do in the summer, and that's a big deal. But you guys have been a partner in that with providing some resources for that. So thank you for that too.
And I apologize for not mentioning the cleaning contracts that we have with you guys. They're relatively new, and we'd love to be a part of it. I mean, it's just been great. Your staff, everybody in the buildings have been so wonderful to work with. I sometimes get shared compliments from the staff and from the folks in the building. So I couldn't be more appreciative of the opportunity to work in those buildings.
Yes,
Right.
John and Lois, do you have a question? Go ahead.
Yes, I do. Brent, it is not clear to me and to Lois what exactly we should be donating to your thrift store. And we donate all the time, but we're not sure if that's what you need, what you want, or you can sell. Could you give us an outline or a?
Yeah, we have been one of the only thrift stores in the area that really hadn't had any limitations on what we hope to get in donations, and that has been great for for a lot of the things that we do. What we've realized since reopening in June, after that about 3-month pause after March, was we're getting a better understanding of what people are looking for and what people are not. And what we realized was clothing. We can't get enough clothing. Clothing can't stay on the floor. When folks are coming in our stores, that's what's turning over the most. What isn't turning over as much as it used to is furniture. Mostly furniture that's not in good shape. I mean, that's pretty much obvious, but heavy furniture just isn't turning over as quick as it used to. I think people are getting rid of furniture more than acquiring new furniture. So that is something to consider. Mattresses and things like that, obviously we're discouraging moving forward. Usually the best thing for us to, or because as things change, as time is just going on, we'll get an influx of a particular type of donation and then won't see it again for a while. We're trying to have more of a social media presence where we're going to give some of that what we're looking for, what we're asking for a pause on there. And then also for those that aren't on social media, we're also going to do the same thing at our stores to make sure that those donation sites continue. We've updated the way that we can take donations. If you haven't been there lately, it's all hands, it's touch free. So you can just drop it off, take make the phone call, take a picture and send us in. We'll email you the receipt. So there's nobody coming out to your car anymore, that type of thing. Once we're able to do that, that'll return, but we're going to take that opportunity to also put on the wall the types of items that we're looking for, and that we're going to prohibit as well. And unfortunately, what we spend a lot of time with donations is stuff that never makes it to our store floor. And that's, I think some folks think that we could use a table with 3 legs, and we just can't. And so we get it and it immediately hits the dumpster. Those type of things that I think we want to make sure folks are bringing only items that they really feel we could sell, not just getting them out of their basement.
You also have an issue with people donating aged or old electronics?
Not so much. We do have a vendor that will come and take most of our electronics. There's some e-recyclers out there. A lot of them have gone away because some of the opportunity to get rid of those have slowed down in the last 11 months. But we usually don't discourage that. I think the only thing that we currently shy away from is these large projection TVs that are, number one, difficult to move, and number two, take up a lot of space on our store floor. So I never get a good response when I call my manager excited that somebody's donating a projection TV. But so that might be the only electronic that I think we stay away from.
You also don't take magazines. I learned that yesterday. I tried to drop off a Reader's Digest that my mother-in-law gave me, and the man said, no, we don't take those anymore. So.
And and books too are sometimes tough. We have repurposed some of our books. If you haven't been to the old Tinkham Center, we took the old library, and now we put a bunch of books on the shelves that have some reference and that we can direct some folks to. But again, it's very similar to the 3-legged table example I gave. Some reasons people get rid of books is because such thing as like an Encyclopedia Britannica never applies to anything anymore, but people want to get it off their shelves.
And I wanted to make the comment too, they will come and pick up. If you have furniture, they will come and pick it up for free.
Yep.
I had that experience a few years ago. They will, you have to call a number, and somebody calls back, and we set up an arrangement where a crew came out, picked up the furniture, and I think took it to one of the other stores. It didn't go to Wayne.
Yeah. We've modified that slightly. We've brought technology in, so there's a way to actually get an appointment scheduled through our website or through an app. And then we have modified the pickup process a little bit. We used to actually be one of the last to actually go into your home and move something out of your home and into our truck. And we've paused that. So we've asked that folks, when they're donating something, either have it in the garage or have it on their porch so that our staff aren't going into the homes just until for the time being.
Right.
Just keep everybody safe.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I've also brought goodies like cakes and things like that, and the people there take them, and I don't know if it's, the people themselves that are eating it. I'm sure they are. But
well, I'm not getting it, if that means anything. So it's not making it here to Dearborn. But that's very nice of you. I know they appreciate that.
Right. Yeah, I donate a lot of things there. They're open all the time, which is nice. We have St. Mary's Outreach Center in Wayne also that does a wonderful job of feeding the community, but the hours are limited. So, it is nice that the thrift store is open as much as it is, even have hours on Sunday, I think.
Yeah. Yep. And our Wayne store, it's a of our other, we opened our Southgate store, like I mentioned, in 2011, about 4 years after, starting the opportunity at Tried and True in Wayne. And then in 16, we opened our third one in Dearborn Heights. But time after time, people love our Wayne store. It probably has the most foot traffic of all three. It's in our smallest location of all three, but people love it.
Yeah, and I would say toys, it looks like another thing you would probably need. I went in there looking for like a little plastic kitchen for my granddaughter and wasn't able to find anything like that. So I would think that toys go quickly, things like that.
Yeah, we have a process that we kind of rotate the items from store to store if they don't. It's unfortunate that we can't, if you're looking for something in particular at Wayne that we can't give you an example of what's at our Southgate or our Dearborn Heights store, but I can tell you that it might be something we advertise or let you know that if you're looking for something in particular, just talk to one of our sales reps and they can call our other two stores and let you know what might be at the other store, other locations. And they're close enough that if you need to, you can drive to them or get to them.
So where do the funds go, your profit from running, if there is any profit from running the thrift store?
Most of our sales revenue stays right at the store. We're through paying the clerks that are not related to some of our internships, or paying those interns who are doing the majority of the work there, and then some of the other fixed costs. Where we do see some money returned back is to help support those supported employment opportunities. So the training and the support and the job coaching and those type of things that we can invest back into the program. It really helps when we have, higher sales months and have initiatives to increase those sales. It really helps all of our programs.
Okay, well, I know we've kept you longer than what I said.
It's fine. No, it's fine. I thank you for everybody's time. I know you have other business to take care of as well.
Yeah, we'll have a few minutes to take care of that. So thank you so much, Brent. It was great. You did a great job. We really appreciate you coming. And I'll let Lois, our former librarian, tell you about your honorarium.
Am I muted?
No.
Oh, well, thank you so much for your presentation today. And in honor of our speakers, we always donate a book to the Wayne Public Library. So I will ask Miranda to let us know what the book is that they're purchasing in your honor. And there will be a book plate put in it saying that it was donated by the Wayne Rotary Club in honor of you. And we'll let you know what it is.
That's so nice. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. You want me to stick around or you want me to log off?
It's up to you. You're welcome. You're welcome to stay. But you're also welcome to log off.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So for the rest of the club, I'm going to make a few announcements. We don't have any February birthdays. Our Rotary theme for the month is peace and conflict prevention and resolution. So if you find a way to resolve a conflict, you're fitting right in with Rotary's theme for the month. So I think that's a great theme, actually. And I think that's what we need, lots of that these days. Events for February. So next week we have Christine Donahue, the COO of Beaumont Wayne, who is going to be speaking to us. So I'm really looking forward to that. It took me a while to get someone to get back to me. I think there's been a lot of turmoil there. So I think that will be a good presentation, hopefully. February 16th, we have John Albrecht, the president of the Westland Rotary Club. And he's also a new member of the Wayne Westland Board of Education. So he's going to talk to us about those things. February 23rd is our evening meeting. And I'm thinking maybe we could think about going to the Avenue. I know they're open. I guess the question would be whether we're able to do it in a socially distant manner. So I will look into that to see if we are able to possibly get together in person. The board meeting is on February 18th at 7:30. All club members are invited. You just have to let me know and I'll send you a Zoom invitation. So all club members are invited to attend if you wish. The other thing I wanted to talk about just briefly is Rotary road trips. This is something that we discussed at the last board meeting. In order to get a mention at the district conference or little certificate, we have to attend 4 Rotary meetings, other clubs' Rotary meetings by April 1st. So Pat, you suggested attending Westland's meeting on Thursday. Oh, you're muted, Pat, sorry. You're muted. I'm going to unmute you. Go. I can't unmute you.
Laura,
There you go. Yes. Yes, Lois.
Pat has set up a meeting with Westland, and I think
Okay.
there are 4 of us who are planning to attend. It's at noon. So if
Good.
anybody else is interested, just let her know, and she'll send you the Zoom information. I have 2 more lined up that they're getting them awful close here, but if
Yeah.
anybody is interested in going tonight at 6 o'clock to join the Belleville Rotary Zoom, they're going to have a speaker called, he's talking about how to show up and change the world. So I do have the link for that one. So if you let me know, I can send you a link. John and I can go. So maybe if somebody else, 2 other people can go, we could make that one. Pat can go?
Yes.
I can go.
Okay. And I just need 1 more person. And then tomorrow at noon, the Detroit Rotary is having a program called the Tuskegee Airmen. So far we have John and I and Pat are planning to do that one too. So I need 1 more person for that.
I'll go.
Okay, Laura, great. So I guess I just need 1 more person for tonight, and then we would have 3 of them accomplished already.
Yeah, right.
Tonight, what time's tonight?
Tonight is at 6 o'clock.
Sometimes I can't get out of, I'll try my best. Just email me the information and
I'll
I'll,
do that, Gail. That'd be great.
Then there's one other one.
Oh, yeah.
We're going to experiment with Laura. And there is in the Rotary District 6400 directory, a virtual club. They don't have a home, if you will. But it's a virtual club, and it's called Rotary Passport. And they every Saturday morning at 9 o'clock by way of Zoom. And it's such a club that where you do pay dues, as an example. And it's run by Bruce Goldson out of Longboat Key, Florida.
Oh, how about that?
Bruce and Sue. So we're going to try that. And is it in fact that you have to have 4 people attend?
Yes.
Okay. Well, we'll give it a shot anyway.
And we have to do an international one too. We have to do one from Windsor, or we're also, and to Brent, we are part of an international district. District 6400 or Rotary encompasses part of Canada. So
we have 1 club in Windsor. It's called Windsor 1918, and they meet at the same time as we do on Tuesdays at noon. And it's a club of about, I think, 40 people. And we might be able to just participate in that Zoom. And I would volunteer to contact their president and see if that's doable. And then we could schedule it for March.
okay,
Is that okay with you?
sure.
Okay.
Yeah, we don't have anything scheduled yet for March. The other thing I wanted to mention, so you all know about the Rotary road trips. And the other thing was the Great Lakes watershed cleanup. This is something that the district is involved in, and their clubs are very excited about it, especially downriver clubs. They're going to be working on the Detroit River. Clubs that border Lake Erie in our district are going to be working on projects to help clean up the watershed. So of course, our watershed here is the Rouge River. So I have not done anything yet on it, but I do want to participate. It's the week of April 17th through the 24th. What I need is a chair, is somebody who can chair that. And I know I saw Lori Morrow on here. She mentioned that she wanted to get more involved, but I don't see her. I think she must have left. But anyway, it sounds like a very cool thing. It can be as simple as just picking up trash along the road. I mean, we don't have to, you know, get waders on and go into the Rouge, you know, which I don't really want to do. So, but we can, like along John Hicks, where Milton and I go walking every day, you know, there's garbage strewn all through that woods where we walk, you know, across the bridge there, across the Rouge River. And there's garbage all along that road. And, you know, just even to clean up that road might be, you know, we could clean up where we live, you know, not far from there. So it'll be outdoors, which will be okay for COVID purposes. And I think it'll be a good project for us. So something to look forward to, getting outside. And we'll firm it up, you know, in the next few weeks as to the date, you know, and exactly what we're going to be doing. So we're a service organization. Unfortunately, we haven't been able to do all that much, you know, because of COVID. But I think that's an opportunity to do something that's really worthwhile for the environment and for our city. The other thing I just wanted to mention was our partnership with FAN for our recovery home and Hope Not Handcuffs. Apparently, Hope Not Handcuffs is not yet launched in Wayne because there aren't enough volunteers. There are not enough angels. So I will send out an email to everybody telling them the virtual trainings that are coming up. It's not a huge commitment of time. It's a couple hours a month, you know, and you can, if somebody calls you and says, we need somebody today to go out to the Garden City Police or to the Wayne Police, you can say, no, I can't do it today. You know, it's not like you're absolutely required. What it is that you help get that person into treatment. You work with Detroit Wayne Integrated Health. You have to call the screening line and be screened and then assist that person into getting into treatment. So the idea is somebody who's strung out, who's lost hope, and who turns himself in at a location that wants to get treatment, is that you help them with the paperwork. And also the other thing that is great with FAN is that they hook them up with a peer support specialist and also a family coach if necessary. So that's why it's a really good program. And I don't know, John, Mayor Racy, have you heard anything about the launch of Hope Not Handcuffs? Because I was told that we're still waiting for more angel volunteers.
I haven't heard anything.
Okay.
Laura, regarding Hope Not Handcuffs, and I'm not sure if my text went through to you. Thursday night at 6 o'clock, the Gross Eel Rotary Club, their program deals with Hope Not Handcuffs.
Yeah, how about that?
And evidently the Gross Eel Police Department has signed up and volunteered to be a member of the program. And I don't know anything other than I saw their meeting notice on Facebook.
Yeah.
It might be, if there's time available.
Yeah.
You could join in.
Right. I really like to be part of the media, you know, campaign. Right. I'd like to just maybe see how they do it, you know, how they're rolling it out and if there's media coverage and things like that. Because I think, I mean, FAN, Hope Not Handcuffs, wants media attention. I think it'd be good for Rotary too, to show that we're partnering with FAN. You know, it's more exposure for both organizations to get good media coverage. So, so I'd like to kind of see what they're doing as far as that goes. That's
I brought it up, even though we can't participate because we have another commitment with the Gerald Ford Museum and Library in Grand Rapids at 7 o'clock. So
oh, okay. Okay. Well, Thank you. And also I've made a couple donations to AIM Recovery. The one that Brian Cousins came and spoke to us. They have the facility in Westland. I bought some things and I'll ask for reimbursement through the grant for a gentleman who showed up there with nothing. He had no clothes. He had to be deloused. And so he needed everything. And actually I went to the thrift store. I went to Tried and True and bought a bunch of clothes for him. And I also bought him some things at Target also. So I have those receipts and I'll submit them for the grant. That is allowed under the grant. Supplies for people that are in the recovery home or in treatment facilities and I also took them some of the backpacks that we have. So, and then also Ashley Ferguson from New Horizons contacted me and asked for a gentleman, he needed a coat. So I went and bought him a coat. And he also needed quarters for the washing machine. He's having some personal hygiene issues, I guess. They asked for help with his program fees, which I don't believe our grant will cover. And also Lois, you forwarded a really nice email from one of the gentlemen that's living at the Wayne Recovery Home for New Horizons that thanked us profusely for the meal that Cheryl provided last week. So
Our caterer.
our caterer did a meal for the recovery home in Wayne. It's located on Wayne Road. And one person tracked us down on the website actually and sent the message through the website. So in fact, let me see if I can find it. I meant to read it off. That's okay. I'll send it in the email that talks about the whatever the email was that I was going to send. I wrote it down, so it's here somewhere. In any event, I will include that in the email.
Okay.
So, okay, well, anybody have any questions or comments or anything?
Laura, I just had one thing at our meeting. It was asked about the little library at Rotary Park, and it was our DPW, like I thought.
Oh, excellent.
And the two DPW workers that were doing it that day for us were Tom Cahill and Ron Ford.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Well, that was wonderful. The DPW guys are the best.
Yes,
And to Brent, we had a little free library at one of the parks, Rotary Park, I think it was. Anyway, Rotary Park 2 kept getting vandalized. And that was one of our projects, was the little free library. And so continually was vandalized, but the city of Wayne's Department of Public Works employees fixed it. So that was really good news. Definitely something we're celebrating. We probably sent a letter of appreciation to Tom Cahill and Rob Ford. I made a note to do that. Just send them a note.
Okay.
Hey, Laura, I just wanted to mention something real quick. Just let me know in advance if you have in other situations where you're buying items for an individual that might need it during a particular time. Let me know in advance. We do it quite a bit. If it's furniture or clothing for a family that, you know, had a house fire or whatever it was, you know, we don't advertise it, you know, but we do help and support where we can. So instead of you going there and just, you know, picking out a couple of things, if you let me know, we'll help you with the cost, as well as seeing if there's some other items that may not be at a particular store that might be a better use.
Oh,
for us.
wow.
We can always coordinate it and that kind of thing. So
That
just
would
let
be
me know
great.
when those type of things happen.
I will. Yeah, he had size 13 shoes and I couldn't find any 13 shoes at the thrift store. So I went to Target and I bought him some shoes. So yeah, but I looked, I couldn't find any. Thank you so much. That's a wonderful suggestion. Okay, well, we'll go ahead then and end the meeting if nobody has anything else. And we conclude our meetings with the 4-way test of the things we think, say, and do. So I will recite the 4-way test. First, is it the truth? Second, is it fair to all concerned? Third, will it build good and better friendships? Fourth, will it be beneficial to all concerned? Thank you all for coming.
Thank you, Brent, for being with us.
Thank you so much, Brent. Great meeting you.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it. Bye-bye.
Thanks, everyone.